Today is the last day of Raid Class 6, limited time event dungeon, or raid, my bad. War Demon Sushi, for all intents and purposes, he will be renamed to Sushi. So, everybody's been farming Sushi for his hair. The War Demon's gems are pretty easy to get. They always drop when you beat them, but the hair is the rare drop, which takes forever to farm. And for the past week or so, I've been farming. I was able to get enough for 5 blades. Then I kept farming some more. The last couple of days, I've slowed down on the farming, but I've still, helped out some people, gotten some more, probably make like 6 or 7 now. And one thing that I didn't do yet was solo him. Now, RC6 is completely soloable. I don't think it's impossible by any means. I know a couple of people who did it, but it always took a really long time. So it was always trying to find, that balance between damage and survivability, and I've basically come up with this team as my standard Sushi team. It does pretty well. If I'm in a prior to this, I'd use my weaker duplicate units for Roa, Griff, and Dolk. Use a different friend Drevas, but for this, since it's going to be solo and I really want to complete it as fast as possible, I put my best spheres on them. You can probably look more down below. I'll try to put up a link to imager of my Sushi running team, and basically setup is Roa, Griff, Dolk, Drevas, Aliyut, and Nador. So pretty much this covers everything you would need except for burst heal. And I don't think that'll have too many issues because my team is pretty OP. And you can find about all the stats and info down there. You can Google the spheres if you wanna. But for now, I'm just gonna start. So this is completely solo. I put a password on it. I put a minimum level requirement of 400 on it. So if you're over level 400 and you can guess my password, which is 6969, just for this video. I was like, what's one password that nobody would think of? I was like, oh, whatever, let's put this. So I always come here to farm just once. For me, it has the highest chance of dropping monuts, which are used to make crystals, and I like crystals because you can never get too many crystals. You really can't. Crystals are love, crystals are life. If you pop into a raid, the only thing you can give is your crystals, might as well, right? But generally you want to bring your best team for RC6 raid because you don't know, especially with quick start, you don't know if the people, that you're going to be paired up with are going to be awesome and great, or they're going to suck and leech and feed, die, and then be left all alone fighting solo. So instead of doing that, just basically have your team ready, have everything set up, you should be good to go. So, talking about stances, alright. So, Supreme Stance, pretty simple. Everybody SBBs, BBs, all that fun stuff. For military and godly stances, honestly, military is probably the most common stance I've ever seen. It always goes off all the time, and it's pretty annoying. So when that comes up, you just kind of want to, just auto attack one unit, SBB the rest. Same thing with Godly, except Godly you have to pay more attention to your units because I find, the BB drain does kind of suck, and as it goes down lower and lower on your Sushi's HP bar, the more damage you get. So for this run, I'm going to be using all 4 crystals. First, I'm just going to use 1 attack and defense crystal for the first 5 minutes. That's it. Then for the next 5 minutes, just around the time will be 22 minutes-ish. If I run into trouble or screw up or whatever, just have to SBB with my ultimate Brave Burst to get out of that situation or throw a smoke bomb. So first turn, just SPB everybody, nothing, no stances yet. And this is where you kind of have to pay attention. This is one of the very few raid bosses in general where you don't want to leave it on auto battle because you'll die a lot. So this is the military stance, the most frequent one. Normally I auto attack Drevas and then I SPB the rest. For this setup, I like to alternate between normal attacking Drevas and normal attacking Aleut. So I usually just, you know, hit auto and then leave it on, then attack and then auto, attack, auto until stance change. And as you can see, I do have the damage over time. So damage over time actually helps a lot here. Not damage, healing over time. There we go, that's the right one. You get damage over time, so healing over time is the only thing that can counteract that. This is why I find that burst healing is not as necessary, because with burst healing, that would be something like having a Krantz instead of a Dolk, but Dolk already gives high enough BC Heart Crystal drop rate that you should be able to heal up most of your HP. So here, Aleut would kind of act as the healer of the team. Dolk would be the drop enabler / mitigator of the team, which is why I put the Sky Orb on him so he stays alive. If he dies, I will be very sad. To random stuff. Yeah, that would be pretty bad. So here's the Godly stance. Starting to hurt a bit, but it's not that bad. Friend Drevas also has Sky Orb and the Flower Mirror, which means it's protected from anything. Status ailments, getting hit by crit, getting hit by weakness damage, so that's all good on that end. It also heals over time and all that fun stuff. So as you can see here, I'm also about to get my OD gauge up. So with the OD gauge, what I like to do is when I get it or I'm close to getting it and I just want to completely bypass a turn or a stance, I just go YOLO, SPB everybody, then the next turn I use one of my fusion potions and then Ultimate Brave Burst that down. So if I'm not mistaken, this is still the Godly stance. We're about 25-ish% through his health. The first 50% of Sushi's HP is pretty easy to deal with. The real issue comes in the latter half. And there's the BB gauge wipe that I hate so much, because this happens. Oh. So I'll just, okay, this is a test. I have total 5 lives for this solo run technically. 3 smoke bombs and 2 regular lives before I technically die. Obviously I wouldn't like to die at all, but seeing as Dolk didn't get hit at all, that sucked. Which means no mitigation. Sad face. No mitigation means 2 units die. That's fine. I have the cheap revives, and now Supreme Stance. Supreme Stance is lovely because you just leave it on auto for 3 turns and you can kind of just go and leave and come back and just wait for a stance change. So as you can see, my team outputs really high damage because I put Spark Spheres on all of them. And by all of them, I mean all of them except Drevas, which is the friend, which you need that defense and elemental negation stuff on. So that basically allows me to do the maximum amount of damage while still having primarily the buffs from the spheres and the units SPBs to basically keep my team from not dying. Got that HP beater skill from Drevas and Roa. You get 30% attack defense from them combined. Then you also get boost to spark damage. You get the elements to fight Sushi with. You need water and you need earth and you need, I think that's it. So that comes from Roa and Griff. Griff does crit rate up but you don't really need to worry about crit damage because most of Sushi's main body doesn't really take crit. So the only thing that it takes damage from is, you know, boosted BB stuff. So here, military stance. Easiest way, I guess, would be to auto attack with Drevas, leave it on auto for 3 turns, and then change it back. The only time I really like to switch around units is when it's the godly stance, because that gets really annoying really fast, and I'd like him to be paralyzed / status ailed more of the time. So now we're getting closer to 50%, and my buffs technically have worn off from my crystals, so that gets quite annoying. But he gets paralyzed, so that's good. That's another thing. If you can somehow get enough status ailments to paralyze Sushi's, like, at least one of his body parts every turn, you'll do all right. Ouch. Looks like Griff and Roa taking the most damage. It's all about that HP, defense, and recovery. Honestly, I don't find that having more damage here helps because there's already enough damage in this team. So here's the godly stance. I hate the godly stance. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna completely bypass it. I'm just gonna SBB everybody. So how I'm gonna do this is pretty simple. I'm just going to SBB everybody. By doing this, I'll trigger his expression of anger, which is very bad. I know there's like specific stats on it and you'll do less damage on him, but basically what happens next is